Good evening and welcome. Welcome to season 2 of the LTC Uncut. We thank you so much for participating with us and watching all of the shows. We took a break for a moment, but we are back and ready to go. We have some hot things in store for you. So just let me tell you who I am. I am one of your hosts. I'm Laticia.
I'm Ali.
I'm Erin.
And welcome, guys. Shayla is on hiatus at the moment, so Erin is actually stepping in and filling her shoes. So we welcome Erin, and Erin's going to do a great job with us. You guys can follow us on LTC Uncut on Instagram, T-shirts, and you can also follow us on the Lunch Time Chronicles on Facebook. So, without further ado, let's open it up here and let you guys know what we're here for today. Today's show is called Black Men of Power, and if you see, we have 3 handsome men here joining us today.
Four of them.
Ali's a part of the show, okay? We have 3 guests. You are our host. Thank you ever so kindly. Well, we have 3 men of power here today, and they are sitting to my left, and I'm going to introduce them as they are here on the couch. We have Brother Karan, we have Brother Nuri, and we have Councilmen Basheer Jones in the building. So welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
So please, for a moment, just tell everybody who you are. No order, just it doesn't matter. Whoever wants to jump out there.
Brother Karan.
Yes, sir. Well, my name is Brother Karan X. I'm the Cleveland, Ohio representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It's a post with great responsibility. I'm greatly honored to accept that post and give my life to represent the man of God in our midst who we believe to the best of my ability. And it's an honor to be here with you all today as my 2nd time on the show.
Yes.
You had such a great time last time that I had to bring guests, bring friends.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
And I'm Brother Guest.
Brother Guest.
Brother Nuri Muhammad, and honored to be here in the great city of Cleveland. This is our debut visit here. We travel to maybe 50, 60 cities a year, teaching in different formats. Author of 4 books, as well as what you would call in the church the resident. I'm the resident minister of Indianapolis, where we have a complex that houses a beauty and barbershop, restaurant, school, as well as our mosque and space for our daycare.
So like I was saying, Brother X, you was on the show before, and it was amazing. I learned a lot. And you probably don't remember, but when I was graduating from John Hay in 2011, you were the guest speaker, and I learned a lot, and it was amazing. And now we have Mr. Nuri here, Brother Nuri, I apologize. And I'm just, y'all know that I usually talk a lot, but I'm just here to learn, and then, that's mainly what I want to be a student. I just want to learn as much as I possibly can.
Erin, you've been awfully quiet back there in the back, and I know that you're not new to the show because you've been a guest for twice on the show, but you are a host now. So.
And she's a resident of Ward 7.
Active resident, and I do a lot of things in the community as well. I know that you both stated that the way for the community is first love and then knowledge. But what else? How do we fix a hurting community?
If I can, there's 3 B's that if we're going to bring freedom to our community that we have to focus on. The first B is books. Right? One elder, he said to me that it's foolish to think that the one who benefits from your oppression would empower you and give you freedom. Right? So if we are depending on schools to educate our children, we already lost.
That's right.
We already lost. So we have to be books. So books, we have to educate our children about who they are, where they come from. Their history did not begin in 1619. It didn't begin there. So books. The next B is ballots. You gotta have black consciousness. Right? So you have, ever since I became councilman, it's been going on 2 years now, not even that long. And I see clearly black leadership who are silent about black suffering.
Come on.
I mean, it's loud.
Yes.
Dr. King said, it's not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. And you have council people and judges, and we talk about Trump, but there's some Trumps right here in Cleveland, man. They're judges, they're council people,
prosecutors.
Right, prosecutors. So we understand that there have to be ballots. I can take you places right now in the ward that would not be there if our team wasn't there. I can take you to new parks, I can take you to artwork, I can take you to people who have jobs and big buildings that are being developed. And not just developing buildings, but developing people. So you gotta have ballots. You gotta have ballots. This is very important. And lastly, you got to have bucks. You got to have economics. One of the things that we love most about when you study the history of the Nation of Islam, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, how the focus was about building businesses, right, that suffice the community. Why is it that in our community, majority of businesses are not owned by the people that represent the community? Only in our community.
Brother Basheer.
The only institution, Cleveland is 60% black.
Wow.
The only institution that we are the majority is the jail. That's it.
Man.
We have majority of the police officers don't look like us. The majority of teachers don't look like us. The majority of fire people don't look like us. Right? No institution but the jail. So how do we change this? We change it through bucks. We change it through ballots. We change it through books.
Beautiful.
I need a notebook.
Man, that, you just, something you said, there's a saying that Frederick Douglass made about education with children. Of course, the most popular one is that it is easier to educate, train a child than it is to educate an adult. But he also said this, that a child who only learns in school is an uneducated child. So education doesn't stop whenever they leave the school.
Come on.
In fact, whenever you are going to any of the, whether it's Cleveland or Indianapolis, any of the public school systems of the United States of America, there's a deprogramming that has to take place. And the other thing that I thought about when you were talking, we've been to about 50 cities in the last 12 months, and we've been doing our own observation of a thriving community versus communities that are barely surviving. The barely surviving is always black communities, I don't care what city you go in. And the thriving is always the Jewish, the white, and the Asian. And what you notice when you go to the Jewish, white, and Asian community is that they have 5 worship centers and 500 businesses.
That's right.
But when you come to the barely surviving black community, we have 5 businesses and 500 churches. That's bass awkward, if that makes any sense.
A lot of sense.
What they're saying is, and then in our community, every time a school shuts down, somebody gets a call and it makes a church out of the school.
Come on.
Every time a grocery store closes down, preacher comes and makes the grocery store into a church. Every time a theater shuts down, what happens? Church comes and put. So what needs to happen in order for us to go from a barely surviving to what would be a thriving is we got to invert the math.
That's right.
Less worship centers, more businesses. We have to go back to some of these churches and turn them back into grocery stores.
That's right.
Go back to some of these churches and turn them back into theaters that have plays and entertainment that will be edutainment for the rise of our people. And we have to go back to some of these churches that were once schools and make them back into independent, God-centered, Afrocentric educational facilities that can train our children properly. I don't think that you're going to get an answer that is the same from any of us, but all the answers are not either or, they're going to be both and.
That's right.
We need all the math in order for us to get out of the condition.
Now, we had a conversation, a show Ali and I did maybe last Sunday, where we talked about what happens when we finally get money and we start businesses and how long those businesses stay in existence.
Okay.
And it's because, number one, we made a quick come up, and then now it's no longer a necessity for us, or we sell it on. So how do you sit down and have that conversation with someone to say, let's stop living paycheck to paycheck and let's start building wealth, so that way whatever you're building can be passed down to your children and their children. How do we come in the community and say that and then practice it?
I thought of one key word when you said that: legacy. See, we're not living for a legacy.
Come on.
So in 1867, 2 years up from slavery, black people possessed 1% of the wealth of the United States. In 2015, the Nielsen report said black people still possess 1% of the wealth.
That's right.
We have more income, but we don't have wealth. Income is money that came in, but wealth is what you exchange your money for, that either remains the same value or increases in value over time. We haven't done that. So we still the only people that blame the white man for 95% of our problems and still spend 97% of our money with them.
That's right.
We still are the leaders in unnecessary spending. That's another reason why the businesses go out. We buying stuff we don't need with money that we don't have from people that we don't like to impress people that we don't even know. So it's unnecessary spending that causes it. And you see, as my brother Basheer sees in his ward and others, that when foreigners come in, the Asian will be willing to set up air mattresses inside of the beauty supply house when they get their business started and live there for a couple of years in order for it to get up and then for them to move. But the minute we first get our small business loan, we got to come with an Escalade to pull up at our new spot. So we living off of the business before the business proves that it's worthy of us living off of it. That's just part of the math. And I would say too, we have to have a greater degree of patriotism in our community. The reason why the Jews in the Jewish community, the dollar remains in their community 17 to 21 days. Among the Asians, 28 to 30 days. The Latinos, 14 days. But in our community, a dollar only lasts 3 to 6 hours. It's because they shop with their brother before they shop with another. That means any time that I have a need, want, good, or service, I got to find somebody that looks like me that's selling it. And if I don't find them in my immediate environment, I got to go online and find it. After I can't find them in my immediate environment, can't find them online, then I'm going to give my enemy my money for what I need as a good product or service. So we got to get back into that shopping with our brother before we shop with another, so we can keep our money circulating. And I think the businesses would thrive instead of dying off so quick. And then the business owners. Stop trying to live and look rich. You know, we go broke trying to look rich.
And right here in Cleveland, I'm sorry, just to bring it back home, we have a black-owned supermarket, the East Side, the new East Side Market off of 105 in St. Clair. You know, I've heard people say, well, the prices are too high. And they ain't never complained about Giant Eagle or Winans, but they complain about this store. You know, and I think it's like the minister said, it's twofold. One, the responsibility that we have, right? But then there's also understand that there's a such thing as structural racism, right? I give you an example of structural racism. Medical marijuana is now one of the biggest up-and-coming businesses in the country.
Come on.
They're saying that it could be close to $30 billion. But within those laws, state by state, you find that if you have a felony, you cannot take part in the business. That means that our cousins who went to jail for selling weed, they can't even come out and sell the weed. The majority of the business owners of the medical marijuana business are over 80% are white men.
That's right.
See, this is the gangsters is in City Hall, man. The gangsters is in the White House, man. This is the gangsters when you can turn what was illegal and make it legal and then keep out others from it. So what we have to do is, and what we're doing in my ward, you can't own the land in my ward. If you're a developer, you want to build, you can't own the land. The land always belongs to the people. So we created a community land trust, so that the land trust partners with the developers. Right? So that's one thing. You can't just you can develop buildings, but not without developing people. So we just closed on a $30 million project off of Ansel and Huff. What I told them to do is, first of all, you don't own the land, number one, and then number two, you have to set aside money to help fix up other houses in the area. So now your building ain't the only newest building on the block. And they gave us close to $200,000 to go fix up other homes in the block. So now Grandma Johnson, Grandma Jones, she can get her porch fixed, she can get her roof fixed. And now they're saying that not only did this place look good, but also my home look good, and they have that pride. You can't come in and move the people out of our community.
Right.
We will always remain.
Man, and that's why we need strong, conscious elected officials like Brother Basheer in office. You know, it is not. We have spent a lot of time trying to repair the system, but I have breaking news. The system ain't broke, it was built like this.
That's right.
So we have to spend more of our energy in replacing the system than trying to repair it. But we have to establish, in warfare, you have to have a beachhead behind enemy lines. And whenever we have good black elected officials that have the people's interests at heart, that are inside of that, there's a beachhead behind enemy lines.
That's right.
So as he's seeing how they're cutting the budget to distribute the resources that we pitched in for, he's making sure that we get our fair shake. And that ballot, you know, I would hope that those that are in the viewing audience from this great city of Cleveland, that they wouldn't pull the lever for Brother Basheer to just be a city councilman, but I think it's time for him to be the mayor.
That's right.
And just going up to the governor. And if we want to go a little higher, we can do that too.
Right.
But we need honorable and noble men to have the people's heart at stake. The hurtful thing too, my sister Erin, is that as my brother was dealing with structural racism, do you know, Sister Laticia, that the same bank that will give a black man a $250,000 loan for a plastic house, a $150,000 loan for a student loan to get a degree that won't work, another $85,000 for an Escalade that's going to be worth $40,000 when he drives off the parking lot. Let that same black man that got the $80,000 loan for the Escalade, $250,000 loan for a plastic house, $150,000 student loan, let him go to that same bank and ask him for a small $10,000 small business loan.
No, sir.
The answer is no.
No, sir.
So we are dealing with, they know that business is warfare.
That's right.
They know that business is the activity of life. What makes a thriving community is not worship centers, but it is businesses. And if we can ever get a little startup capital to get going, then we will be contenders to turn our communities into what you see among the Jews, the Asians, and the whites. And that they're not trying to do.
Right.
Because they like keeping our neighborhoods colonies instead of a community. And the difference between a colony and a community is that a colony is when people do business and don't live in the area they do business. They take the resources, the lifeblood, the economics, and invest somewhere else. So Jews and Asians and whites, they all live together. They don't live in our neighborhood. Matter of fact, we just did a poll today. Barbara was at the meeting. Asked the brother, now you go and you get your neck strips, your guards, and your you know, whatever you get to. Has any of them Asians ever come in and got a line, a part, a haircut from you? No.
No, sir.
So you mean tell me none of the people that do all these nails, they never come to none of y'all beauty shops? No.
Sir.
They don't give nothing back. They don't do business with us.
Right.
We've been colonized.
Right.
So either you're going to be here, do business, and live here and reinvest to raise the value of our neighborhood, or you're going to pay a tax for being here.
Right.
And make sure you give something to make sure that our children have sports and whatever else that we want, or you got to get out of town by sundown.
Right.
And then we've got to, and I'm not talking about going and burning up nothing and kicking down, busting no windows, but right next to the little Asian ABC Beauty Supply, we're going to put Laquisha's Beauty Supply
Right next to it.
And we're going to spend all our money with Laquisha.
That's right.
We're going to shop with our sister and brother before we shop with this other that don't care nothing about us.
Right.
And I think we can have a better community.
So, with speaking about building up the community and the finances and resources, we know that recently in the media, Jay-Z is getting flack for what he's doing. And I feel, this is just personal for me, is that when we have money and decide to invest back into our community, we are looked at as a threat. And because media is so heavy, what happens is we have people who start making videos and spewing negative views, and we retain that. We eat it, it stays in our mind, we digest it, and so now we're looking at him as an outsider. And or anybody else like him who is an outsider. So how do we get to the point where we make them understand, our people understand, that it's okay for us to be somebody, go somewhere, do something, and be great without it being, oh, he's switching sides, or...
Well, it's unfortunately the in our memory bank, we have always watched white people either get a black person to get them out of the hole, or get a black person to fall on the sword whenever they messed up something.
That's right.
So Colin Powell became somebody to fall on the sword for the foulness of the Reagan and the Bush administration.
Right.
Whenever they brought black quarterbacks to the NFL, they never wanted a black man controlling the game.
Yeah.
But when them linemen got too fast, 300 pounds and running a 4-2, and they coming in there, that little traditional white pocket quarterback, it wasn't going to work. So they didn't hire the black quarterback because they liked the black man. They hired it so that they could keep their game alive.
That's right.
When Barack Obama got elected in office, they hired him like a black quarterback.
That's right.
They used him as a figurehead to be able to generate excitement for America again. Now all black people running around with little bitty flags all
That's
over
right.
again. Everybody forgot all about the hell we've been catching because a black man got into the White House. He was there, but we were here.
Right.
So they see that, our people see that, and they are looking at, man, is this another black quarterback situation? And so they're critical. I would suggest that you should function off of actual facts. And if he's been hired to do a job, let the man run the cycle of action.
That's right.
To see if he's going to do what he says he's going to do. And then if he begins midstream to be other than what he says he's going to be, then you have a right to critique and criticize.
That's right.
It just hurts to see all of our wealthy black athletes and entertainers, when it comes time to invest their money, they always invest in other white companies to generate money for themselves that makes them a wealthier black individual. But very rarely do they start their own and invest in the black community. And that's what made Nipsey Hussle shine above all of the rest.
That's right.
Because here's a brother with $8 million net worth, but look at what he's doing in the hood.
Right.
He wasn't a part of Silicon Valley
That's right.
investing with white companies and white businesses. He had a little Puma sponsorship, but he was putting money into infrastructure to help the black community.
Right.
We would like to see
Yeah.
the Jay-Z's and the Oprahs and those that have the PD. We want to see them invest in something that the little black man in the hood benefits from. And we'll, you know, it's yet to be seen what he's going to do, but I think they should give him a chance to run his cycle before they critique and criticize him. We want to see him open up his own league.
That's right.
That's what we'd like to see. That's the optimal solution. All the black people running the ball, throwing the ball, catching the ball,
Right.
tackling everybody. Go start your own league.
Right, right.
The hell with Jerry Jones and everybody else. So.
Yeah, I agree with the minister that, you know, the sad part about it is that the people who you are trying to sacrifice for the most sometimes become your greatest opposition. And you find that throughout the Bible, throughout the Quran, you see family issues throughout the Quran and the Bible. From the first murder of two brothers, and Joseph's issue with his brothers, and Noah's issue with his son, and Lot's issue with his wife, and Abraham's issue with his father, and so forth and so on. Muhammad's issues with his cousins and uncles. So what I'm saying is that the very people who have the most complaining to do are those who are just in the stands, you know? They get mad at LeBron for missing a free throw. But if you was on that free throw line with all the booing going on,
Right.
man, you might just have an air ball.
That's right.
So we recognize that what we want for people, all people, is to get out the stands and get on the court. And what I can appreciate about what Jay-Z did was that he's on the court. He's using his influence to what he believes to be to bring about a change. And you and I, we're only seeing the thing that's on the screen.
Right.
But I can guarantee you the number of people who have been impacted by Jay-Z, the amount of donations that Jay-Z and Beyonce has given to people that no one knows about, and so forth and so on, and the work that these brothers are doing that you would never even know about. So I would say for those who have issues with Jay-Z, don't let your don't leave it in just a tweet or Instagram post. If you have an issue with what he's doing, then what are you doing to impact your community? What are you doing to make this world a better place? And if all you're doing is putting up a tweet of 140 characters, that's not sufficient.
That's right.
I think as being an entrepreneur myself, my brother and I, we found a lot of flack that we always being the minority. We had to prove ourselves. There's a lot of competition out there. When I sit at the table, I interview. I'm a nurse. I have a home care. And when I interview, it's I'm the only me in the room. And I find myself running away with the client because I'm not selling something. You know what I mean? A lot of people are there as business, and they push their home care as a business.
That's right.
And I feel like I'm already walking into a field where they lack compassion. And I'm one of those that if I can't service the client, I recommend someone. And no one, does that to us. So my thing is, we are always having to prove ourselves before. No one, the people that sit at the table with me don't have to prove anything. But the reason why I feel like I get the client because I have the compassion,
That's right.
I'm going to touch on that aspect of it. No, it's okay. So think about it in this way, because many times we're so quick as black people to judge each other so quick. Like Brother Minister was saying, before we see it play out. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad and some of the teachings that he taught us, he mentioned settling on the best part of the planet. So if you own something, say you wanted to set up a picnic area, you would settle in the best part of the park to have your picnic. So when we see each other, we don't settle on the best part of each other. We settle on the worst. We settle on the things that we question about each other, but we don't look at the best part of each other. We don't see the God in each other. So the first thing we say, and the slave master did this to us.
That's right.
It's Willie Lynch syndrome. We were taught not to trust each other. So the white man plays on this. The enemy plays on this. Even though he's working with Jay-Z, he controls the media. He puts out messages that make us, even though he's working with them now, we question him. He puts a language that, I know that they won't agree with this, divide and conquer.
Right.
So here we are biting our brother's flesh, but he might have a plan. He might have an ace in the hole. Yeah. He might have something up his sleeve. His track record hasn't shown us that he sold us out before. Right. So why is the first thing we think of that he sold us out? Let's pull back for a second. Be a little patient, because this enemy has cut our throat every time. He's always lied to us. Look at what he did to the Indians. He made a treaty and didn't stand on one of them. Yeah. He promised us 40 acres and a mule. I don't see nobody with a mule in this room, or 1 acre for that matter. So, but we believe him when he tells us something. Even the newscaster, they say it's going to rain and it doesn't rain, but we trust them every time. They don't know, they're lying, but we jump on Jay-Z and say he's the one we got to watch. Why not watch Roger Goodell in the NFL? Come on, bro. We should be questioning him, not our brother first. Yeah.
Well, the other side too, is again the constant spending so much energy trying to make something better instead of replacing it. There we go. That's the big struggle that a conscious person has when we see that everything we do is always about repair, and never is about replace. That's right. How long are we going to complain about the curriculum of the public school system instead of just deciding to create our own school system and develop our own curriculum?
Yeah, it is.
Why should I be standing outside protesting Starbucks for harassing the brother when we have a whole lot of stars with plenty of bucks?
That's right. Come on.
That they can pull it together and open up a premium coffee line all over the country. Surely, if you can do it with Ciroc, and you can you can do it with coffee.
That's right.
So I'm saying that to say that we have there still is a level of poor self-worth that even exists in the mind of a black billionaire.
That's right.
That we don't factor in the equation. We assume that if somebody has this level of money, that they also have that level of consciousness, wisdom, insight, foresight, commitment, but they may not have that. So there's an educational process that has to take place with even the black billionaire.
That's right.
In order for them to be a black billionaire and not a Negro billionaire.
That's good teaching.
So I can't say who's who and what's what, but I'm looking at hoping that you're not gonna keep on clocking $200-300 million a year, and the only thing we see you doing is investing your money into a white company that's selling doorbells and garage door openers and a new computer part. When you see the hood suffering like we suffering, come invest in the hood.
That's right.
With your money, and you may not make as much as you could have made fooling with the Silicon Valley Caucasian, but you will have a legacy when you leave, and you'll still make some money. Look at the way, there's not been one of our artists that has passed away that was honored like Nipsey Hussle.
That's right.
And do you know most of the young people had never listened to Nipsey Hussle's music?
That's true.
Prior to his death.
That's true.
My children had barely heard of Nipsey Hussle before, but now everybody is playing Dedication.
That's right.
But because he lived a life that was more for the love of people and his own people than he did for personal economic gain, to be able to say I have. And my contribution to black people is that I'm billionaire and I'm black. That's good, but the great way to go is not to be a millionaire, but to be a millionaire maker.
Come on.
And come into the hood and show your people how to make it out. So
Recreate yourself.
So like I was about to say, you said before, Brother Nuri, that Nipsey Hussle had a net worth of $8 million, and now I saw a post that somebody put on Instagram, and the contribution that he did to the community was worth over $202 million. See, that's something that, like you were saying, like he was honored so much because he actually did stuff for the community, and we don't see that because that divide and conquer mentality that they put on us, and like you said, we don't trust anybody that we see in our color. We can't see the good in people, and what can we do to possibly stop that? I mean, I know it's hard because it's a lot of things we got to do, but like, what's just a couple little bullet points that somebody could take away from, trying to see the best in people?
It's a beautiful quote that says, it's not that we don't love our neighbors like we love ourselves. We do love our neighbors like we love ourselves. The problem is, we don't love ourselves.
That's right.
When you look at Islam, Christianity, and other ways of life, but as a Muslim, I can just speak from that, is that all throughout the Quran, it reminds you that it's not about what you look like. It's about your character.
That's right.
It is about what you leave behind. And this is what about. And as the minister was talking earlier, if you attend any church, any masjid, any synagogue, any religious institution, and it does not inspire you to want to change outside of those four walls, then you are being enslaved. You are being enslaved. Why? Because Jesus was a revolutionary.
That's right.
Muhammad was a revolutionary. Moses was a revolutionary. These men and women across time, they were revolutionaries, and they were people that was with the people. So let me say a couple of things that I think that you and I can do. And just to land back. If you are engaged in the work that we're doing, you can relate to a Jay-Z, you can relate to a Nipsey Hussle, and you're very slow to judge people.
That's right.
Because being in that space, and I'm just talking about being here in Cleveland, man. I've been, as you talked about, I've been doing graduations, man, since I was 18. You know what I mean? 17 years ago. You know what I mean? And I can tell you some of the hateful rhetoric that I've received, man. You'll be surprised of the messages and what people say. Oh, he's only doing this for that. He's only doing it for this. So I can relate to. So I'm very. I don't even write on Facebook. You know what I mean? But today I got on somebody because they had posted something. And social media is a place where people don't need no proof. In America, you don't need no proof to just feel what you feel about people. You know, you can just read a story and be like, that no good man was bop, bop, bop. And then at the end of the story, he said it was just a joke. And he said, oh. But as I told them, the angels don't stop recording because it's on Facebook. God don't stop recording because it was a Facebook post that you put up. Why? Because what you put on social media, it has an impact.
That's
You-
right.
I mean, look, you're gonna look on Facebook and see a fight going on. You feel like you in the fight. The person getting punched or that, you feel like you're in it. Can you think about the amount of PTSD that we are suffering from seeing black and brown people shot down every day in America? Right. So the point that I'm making to you that when you are in the battle, you don't have time to talk about what another man's weaponry is,
That's right.
another woman's weaponry. All you're doing is focused on how do I make this world a better place. So there's some very spiritual medicine in giving. And this is something that's very important, that when you spend your life giving, the one that gives benefits more than the one that receives.
That's right.
So if you truly want to begin to change your life, start with service. Start
That's right.
with finding those who you can impact, finding those who need you, finding those people that you can speak life into them.
Yeah.
These are the things that will begin to transform you. And my mom, who passed away 9 years back, man, she would always say that the medicine for our anger is gratefulness. Be grateful for where you are. Be grateful for this present moment that we are. Because wallahi, I swear by God, this moment won't happen again like this.
Right.
That's
This,
right.
this is it right here,
Yeah.
brother.
That's
You
it.
know. So be in the present. And I'm saying it to you, but I'm talking to myself, because me personally, I'm always focused on what happened yesterday and what I hope to happen tomorrow, and I miss out on the present. Yeah, this is the battle of the revolutionary. This is the battle of us who are on the front lines, brother. It's we sometimes suffer more than the people that we're fighting for. With depression and trauma and stress and anger and anxiety and hunger. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's
this
right,
is a
brother,
serious
Basheer.
battle we fighting, man. And
That's right.
when you fighting a battle, minister, you ain't really got time to complain about what another man is doing.
Yeah.
When you focused on trying to make a change.
It makes me picture a picture of, imagine you see someone drowning in the water. And it's kind of like what happens sometimes when people are drowning. What happens? You go to save the person drowning and they pull you in the
Yes, sir.
water.
Yes, sir.
So as a beacon of light in the community, as somebody on the front lines, like my brother's saying, you have to take on the pain of sometimes trying to save people who don't want to be saved. The minister said, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, sometimes you have to love your people more than they love themselves. And that's hurtful. When you have a genuine love for somebody and you're reaching out to help them, and they may throw salt on your name. They may reject you, spit on you, to get the hell away from my door. Things like that. So you take these arrows. Like brother said, you may be unrightly judged. People would judge you. They say, well, you come in the community and you may be giving out food. Oh, he just wants people to look at him like he's doing something.
Just doing it for votes.
He's just doing it for votes.
Yeah.
He wants to be seen. He's just doing it for a name. But who doesn't want to leave a good name for their children to walk in and don't have to go through the same things that they went through? For they say, oh no, you good. You Brother Nuri's son. Come on in. Your father did so much work here. You can start from up here instead of down here. Who doesn't want that?
Right.
So just the judgment. Sometimes it could be hurtful, painful in our position.
Well, to my brother Ali, to dealing with we're dealing with what is some natural medicine that we can take to eliminate the self-hatred that's blocking us from making progress, is what I'm hearing you ask. And before we were kidnapped and Caucasianized and Westernized and brought to America, we used to operate under certain laws and axioms we had as a people. One of them was it takes a village. Not a good mother and a good father.
No,
Right,
sir.
village.
A whole village.
That's right.
The language that we used to use when we referred to one another was brothers and sisters.
That's right.
And words are powerful.
Yeah.
Words are so powerful. Words don't just describe reality. But by the law of substitution, words have the ability to create a reality that doesn't exist.
That's right. Teach
Look at the way God worked in Bible and the Quran. Anything He wanted, He didn't wish it. He worded it into it, spoke it into. God said, "Let there be light."
That's right.
God said, "Let the stars adorn the heaven." God said, "Let us make man." In the Holy Quran, it says that when Allah deems a thing, He simply says to it, "Kun fayakun," be. But He said. So He uses words to bring things into existence. So one of the things we can do, we can start speaking a language where we start saying Sister Laticia, Sister Erin, Brother Basheer, Brother Ali, Brother Nuri. We start putting brother and sister in front of. Because guess what happens? By proxy, if I'm your brother, you're my sister. My son is your nephew and your daughter's my niece.
Yeah.
So every problem is a family problem now.
Yeah.
I can't go off somewhere gossiping
Yeah.
about, what did you see Sister Leticia's daughter? She done lost her mind. She done posted this and heard so forth. Did you see Brother Nuri's son? I heard that he's doing so forth. No, that's your niece.
Right.
That's your nephew.
Right.
And when we take on the village concept, be brothers and sisters, making all of our children each other's nieces and nephews, we'll graduate out of having sympathy for one another into having empathy for one another.
Yes, sir. Yes,
See,
sir.
sympathy means that I don't like that something bad happened to you, but I ain't tripping, it didn't happen to me.
Right.
Empathy, though, is when something bad happens to you, whatever you feel, I'm feeling it too.
Yeah.
That's right.
And when we get to that point,
That's right.
what hurts Trayvon Martin's mother hurts
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
That's right.
What hurts Tamir Rice's family hurts me.
Yeah.
What hurts Freddie Gray's family hurts my family. Then we are graduating to the point where we're so sensitive that we will put all of our force. It's kind of like the body is. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he said that the ummah or the community or the brotherhood is like the body. If something injures or offends one part of the body, the whole body begins to pray and work to fix that part of the body that is injured. Well, what happens when we start functioning like that with empathy?
That's right.
Then we will be constantly on alert,
Yeah.
That's right.
trying to help each other. And if you're in leadership, if service is beyond you or beneath you, leadership is beyond you. Muhammad Ali said, like, a service to others is the rent you pay for being on the earth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if you're not willing to try to get your joy out of making other people happy, you're not yet a full-grown man or woman.
Come on.
A full-grown man or woman gets more joy out of what they can do to lift somebody else's spirit than anything that they can get, acquire, or have to lift their own spirit. That's what real men and women do.
Wow.
Mm.
So I want to challenge all of the LTC Uncut followers and those that are following Brother Karan, Brother Nuri, Councilman Basheer Jones, because we fall off into these trends. How about we start a new trend? How about we start speaking a different language and calling each other brother and calling each other sister? Let's do that. Let's start that
Heard
trend.
the challenge.
Instead of the Popeyes challenge.
Come on.
Let's start calling each other
Lord, say that again.
brothers and sisters, and then taking on the responsibility of finding out what's going on with them and their children and opening up that door and the lines of communication, because I feel that we can build our community. I feel as though if our community comes together, man, this will be a black world, okay?
That's right. That's right.
So please tell everybody what you guys have coming up. I mean, how was the show? I know you had a great show for the past 2 days, Sunday and Monday, but what do you have going on in the community that you want the people to find out about?
I'll give the Cleveland report.
Okay?
Yes, sir. Well, one of the things that we're doing is we're leading by example. See, one of the mistakes that we make in the community is, sometimes we point at the street organizations for gangbanging, but we got spiritual gangbanging going on. Well, because I'm a Baptist, I don't get along with the Methodists. Oh, you Jehovah's Witness, so you witness over there,
Right.
and we're going to witness over here. We're doing separate. Or the Muslim, even some of the Muslim communities going at it against each other. It's not just an overseas thing, it's a Cleveland thing too. With the Orthodox Muslims, man, we don't like in the nation of it, but we're showing by example, Brother Basheer and I, walking and showing the people that we're combining together and making a powerful show of force in the community. One of the things we've been doing is sitting down with the street organizations, sitting down with the brothers in the street around the round table and empowering them.
I saw that.
They never saw themselves meeting with the councilmen of a city. They never saw themselves meeting with the representative of one of the greatest men ever to be alive, in the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So when they feel that and they see the respect and honor that we show them, now they're like, wait a minute, maybe I am somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe I am important. Because we don't say, okay, come down to City Hall, do we? We don't even say come down to the mosque. We go meet them in their neighborhoods. We go sit down at the round table in a place where they're comfortable. And then we walk the streets in the communities where they say, wow, these brothers suits and dashikis, but they walking through the cut.
Yeah.
They in the dope hole with us. And giving life.
Yeah.
Giving hope to the community. So with that respect that we've earned now, we took those brothers, those street organizations, those communities, and now we're starting to combine them.
Yeah.
Like Brother Malcolm said with the fingers. You know, a finger might irritate you, but when you organize those fingers, when you bring them together in unity in a fist, now you can make some damage. So we're just preparing, and I hate to give the game plan. Maybe the enemy's listening, but there's nothing they can do at this point. Because one thing about, you can't stop what God ordains. Yeah. There's no power higher than the greatest power, the highest power. So we just want to lead by example, you know, rather than just be a mouthpiece in the community, because obviously we all articulate, but it's the service that elevates us in the eyes of God. It's the sacrifice, the dedication, the actual putting our money where our mouth is, so to say, that separates you from those who just get on Facebook, who just tweet, like Brother said, 140 characters.
Right.
Or, you know, you can't just be a Facebook revolutionary.
Right.
You have to get out. So those are some of the things, and just being consistent, first and foremost. One thing that we try to develop from learning to be consistent and going from consistent to constant. Okay. A drop of water constantly dripping can go through rock, can go through bedrock even, the hardest rock. It can go through your skull. That's right. If it's dripping in the same point. So we try to be constant, and the thing that we learn is that our people don't care what you know until they know that you care. Yeah. And once they see that you're genuine, then they start to show you what the real issues are. They build a wall and they won't even tell you what the real problem is. You got to guess. Yeah. But when they trust you, they'll reveal their hands. And now you can help a person when you know where they need the help. Yeah. It makes it easy.
Brother
Yeah, well, you know, in the ward and in the city in general, just to go back to the whole bucks, ballots, and books, you know, not only are we sitting down with these young brothers, but we're also talking to them about economics. Come on. And showing them the process. That's right. Because sometimes we feel so separated from the process, but it's meant to seem harder than what it really is. That's right. So we're trying to break it down to them, teaching them about purchasing land, purchasing houses, going through the county land bank and say, yo, you can take that $5,000 you just made in the streets and make it legal, man. Yeah. Purchase that house. That house that you've been in for the past 20 years, you done paid for it 5 times, man. Right. So we want to get them economically strong. Why? Because now if you own that house, you're gonna be like, you know, y'all ain't gonna be shooting on my block, man. Right. I'm messing up my house, right? But when you have my property value going down, so you want to get these brothers to start thinking like owners. You know, what we're doing in Ward 7, and what we're hoping to see in the entire Cleveland is really, it starts with, as I said, economics. Really assisting people. So we're building something, where we're in the process of putting together a plan to build the Madam C.J. Walker Business District, which will bring black businesses and give them the opportunity to have their businesses. All right. Next thing we're doing is we only in Ward 7. It hasn't happened in no other place in the city. Come on. That's the reality. That in Ward 7 we have the first black developers building houses in Ward 7. That's right. Right. So you have a black woman and a woman-led group. They're building close to 40 new homes in Ward 7 around the League Park area. That's right. Now, and anybody will tell you this, I'm not just saying this, Ward 7 is the hottest area for development right now in the city. Chester Avenue, right next to Cleveland Clinic, right next to University Hospital. That's the hottest area for development right now. That's right. So now when developers call me, it's like, you know, unless you are interested in partnering with minority ownership, then you can't even do business over here. Unless you're going to have some minority partnership. And I'm not talking about like a cover. I mean, like, we want to see some minority partnership in this. We have another black group called Golden Triangle. They're getting ready to build 6 new homes off of Chester Avenue. And these homes have already been purchased by black people. Right? So they've been built by black people, right? They're being purchased by black people. And now our community is diversifying, not just in color and religion, but also in socioeconomic status. That's right. And why is that important? Because you want to be able to build not only market rate homes, but also affordable homes, so if people can go up and down up and down the financial totem pole without feeling like they had to be removed from their community. So really what I'm asking for everybody out there, all of your audience, is to get tuned in.
Yeah.
Get off the damn sidelines,
Yeah.
man. Get in the game. The game is right now. Right now is the time to get these loans, and the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
Right? The game is right now. Get involved, making sure that you're voting, making sure that you're holding your elected officials responsible. Right? Show up to these meetings, ask them the questions. Why aren't you not doing what obviously you can do? Basheer has been in office for 2 years. You've been in office for 20 years. Why are you not doing the thing that you've been? And I close with this. Black people come to me in my community and they discuss garbage cans and raccoons. When white or Arabs come to me, they're talking about multi-million-dollar deals. So what I want the African American community to understand and know, that politics, look at Maynard Jackson in Atlanta, Georgia. You go down to Atlanta, you see black wealth. I graduated from Morehouse College. You go down there, you see black wealth.
That's right.
Why? Because politicians use politics to create equity. That's the same thing that we can do in Cleveland. And for those who are not doing it, you have to ask yourself why.
Man, beautiful, beautiful. And that's why we need, see, he's a gatekeeper in the positive sense. We have a whole lot of white supremacist gatekeepers in the music industry that stop. You know, there's been an old axiom and code among white people as slave masters and makers and traders. They used to always say, nigga sing, nigga dance, nigga jump, or nigga die. And if you look at that, these are the only 4 areas of human endeavor that we've been allowed to operate in without hindrance and suppression.
That's right.
Sing for me, dance for me, or jump. That's sports. Sports entertainment. And if you're not involved in sports entertainment, making me laugh, making me happy, then be dead or be dealing death.
Oh, wow.
And those are the only 4 areas that we've become great in, is sport, play, entertainment, selling dope, or dying or killing our people.
That's right.
So now that we see them in the music industry, because we've been herded toward entertainment.
That's right.
Herded toward sports.
That's right.
There's 500 Jay-Z's, 600 LeBron Jameses.
Just on
There's
Kansas.
900 Nicki
Right.
Minaj's.
That's right.
You know, there's 4,000 Cardi B's.
That's right.
And they all show up. But the gatekeeper said, well, let me pick the one that's going to sell their soul. Let me pick the one that I can count on to push my agenda. They ain't never going to do nothing for their people. Oh, you, come on through. But now when you have a black elected official like Brother Basheer, he is the positive opposite extreme
Come on.
of the negative type of white gatekeeper that's been in the music industry for the 7th Ward and for the community. Now he's saying if you ain't coming correct, don't come at all. If you're not looking out for the people that's been citizens of this neighborhood that went through the downturn and watched it dip and watched it suffer, and now it's on its way up, if you're not going to let them ride all the way to the top, then you can't come over here in our community.
Yes, sir.
So while he's doing that, and it hurts to hear black people coming to him as an elected official talking about trash and raccoons, and Arabs and white people coming talking about multi-million-dollar infrastructure deals. And what that's telling us is that there's still a lot of psychological repair that has to take place.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Because whoever gives you the diameter of your knowledge, so teaches the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, prescribes the circumference of your activity. And when you hear black people talking about raccoons and trash, that's a very low diameter of thinking. That's small-mindedness.
Yes, sir.
That all stems from self-hatred. But when we can get in, as they're building these new homes, we're knocking on the doors of the future owners.
Yeah.
And we're putting a new word in their mind, and that new word produces a new thought. And you know, all thoughts become words, words become actions. Actions become habits. Habits form character, and character produces a destiny or a future. So while they're doing that infrastructure on the outside, we coming in to build the infrastructure on the inside.
Come on, black man.
So when the new homes in the 7th world meet the new black man and new black woman with a new black mind, then you won't have an old black mind coming in a new house that turns the new house into the old house. You'll have a new black mind in a new black house that turns it into a whole new community. So that's our work.
Come on, man.
That's right. Don't fix it.
Right.
Make it from scratch.
So guys, where can they follow you all? Brother Q, where are you?
You can follow me at QChampDC on Instagram and Twitter. Brother Quran X is what it'll say at the top.
I'm easy to find. Just Google Nuri Muhammad and you'll find me on all the social media and other platforms.
Councilman?
At Basheer J, Basheerj. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
We thank you guys so much for just taking the time out to come and sit down with us and educate us.
It's our honor.
We thank you for being reputable black men in the community, and for you, Brother Muhammad, just to be going all over the world yourself also. Even you, Brother Q, for just going around the world touching people to let them know we have the right to be whoever we want to be.
That's
And
right.
let's build.
That's right.
So we thank you for that.
Me too.
Ali, where can the people find you?
You can find me at just_Ali216, and I only got Instagram. I don't do the Twitter.
Erin?
Kirby, Boss CEO on Instagram, and Erin Webb on Facebook.
All right, guys, and you can also follow me at boss, BAWSE_Lady T, and then you can go to our Instagram page at the LTC Uncut and follow. Make sure
That's
from
right.
Facebook you are following the Lunch Time Chronicles,
Right.
and we always ask that you follow, like, and share. Please follow so everybody can see this show. We need to hear this powerful information that was given to us and let it resonate. And don't forget, we have that challenge. So we are challenging everybody to start speaking life unto each other. You are my sister and you are my brother. So let's have that challenge. Drop the chicken. And pick up the words and elevate your level of speaking. So on behalf of the LTC Uncut, you spent your time here with Tisha,
Ali.
and Erin. We are out. We'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Peace.